So collaborate. Even just with a trial consultant. I mean, there's so many times that I'm working one-on-one with a client, just two of us. And they're like, oh my God, that's so brilliant. I'm like, no, we're brilliant. Like, I couldn't do this by myself. You couldn't do it by yourself. But together, we're just like ping, 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 bong, bong, and we just come up with the greatest stuff. And nearly all of my clients leave a consulting session going, oh my gosh, I have so many ideas. I can't even 90 minutes is gone already. They can't believe it. You're listening to Sari Swear on the Sari Swears podcast. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Sari Swears. I'm back with Coach K because, as we all know, he's obsessed with me.
Yep.
Welcome, Coach K.
Thank you.
We just came back from New York City.
Yes, we did, and it was fucking awesome.
You can look at me. They're not actually there.
I know,
mean,
but
maybe...
I love to look at them. Plus, I love to look at the camera.
Well,
I love to break was it third wall, fourth wall?
Fourth wall, I think is what it's called.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it. It's my favorite.
Ooh, speaking of that, let's tell everybody who we saw on Broadway in row F.
In his boxers.
Because he took his fucking pants off.
I know, which I was not expecting.
I know. You felt a little uncomfortable.
I did. I thought I was going to smell something.
Oh, that's terrible. It's Nathan fucking Lane. You wouldn't smell anything.
Now
He's a
you know
gay
who it
man.
was.
He's
Now
probably more clean
I know,
than
but
you.
I was just a little uncomfortable. I mean, we were
okay,
so
can we
close.
actually tell them what the deal is?
Death
before?
of a salesman.
Death of a Salesman, yes. Nathan Lane and Laurie Metcalf on Broadway. It was incredible. I've never seen a Broadway play.
I don't think
I've always seen
either.
musicals,
It's always
but
been musicals.
Yeah. And we also saw Hamilton.
Which was amazing.
Amazing.
Oh my
gosh.
God,
We've seen it here in
amazing.
Portland, but on just...
We love Portland, but there's nothing like Broadway.
There was no words
No.
for Hamilton on fucking Broadway. We also saw Wicked, which this is our 6th or 7th time.
It's
and
great,
we're both,
but we were kind of meh with it.
And we're kind of we love the movies, and we're kind of like, we're kind of done.
Yeah, I think we've seen Wicked enough for now. Give it some time.
Yeah, give it some time. But I'm obsessed with Hamilton. It's still in my brain. I almost can't sleep. It's like you get that brain worm. Anyways, everyone's like, okay,
Enough
what are
with
you
this.
going to be
Can you
talking
move on
about?
with the episode?
Yeah. So we are here to talk about the big issue, one of the top issues, I would say, that drives trial attorneys to coaching. And the reason I thought about this particular topic is in our leadership meeting, just you happen to say about a sample session or something that you had just done. I hope they go with me because they said the thing that I hear all the time. And it just kind of rang my brain to say, you do hear this all the time. And so I thought we should talk about it. So what is the thing that brings a lot of attorneys to you that maybe our listeners might be surprised to hear is a big issue of why they're coming and seeking out a coach?
I don't think I want to be a trial attorney anymore.
Ah, yes. And so you hear that a lot, you say.
Yeah, or I don't know, I might be crazy for saying this, but I've been wondering if I even want to do this anymore.
Yes.
Things like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you are listening or watching, and this is something that you have said to yourself or thought to yourself in the past, this episode is for you, because we're going to get into why this is and what is actually underneath that. And of course, we're going to give you some ways to solve this problem. So tell me a little bit more about why you think this is happening or why you hear this so much. Because you mentioned to me that out of all the hundreds of trial attorneys that you've actually worked with, that at least 60% of them have said this on some level to you, either at the beginning or somewhere in the coaching process. And out of those hundreds of trial attorneys, how many have actually quit and been like, I'm done being a trial attorney?
One. And they didn't even want to be a trial attorney to begin with. We figured that out in coaching. They're doing something completely different now.
And happy?
Very happy.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, we love working with trial attorneys and we love trial law. But if that's not for you, it's not for you, for sure.
The other one I hear a lot is the fear of malpractice, which I've never had a client that had that ever happened to them, but they all fear that it's going to happen.
I've had clients, many, who've actually, I've had so many clients who practice malpractice, who've had, a claim of malpractice, but never gone anywhere.
Sticks.
Yeah,
it never
absolutely.
sticks.
Yeah, so that's
Tools
a big one
of the
too.
defense, right?
Right. But we were talking about, and I think that actually does lend itself to the why they want to quit, because that's a fear. So would you say is the number one reason why people are saying they want to quit being a trial attorney?
They're
And
burned out.
They're burned out.
Yeah.
Why are they burned out? What are you talking about in coaching?
Well, so many times we're talking about they're just doing so much.
Yes.
Yeah. They're just so mired in so much.
Discovery, paperwork. They're looking at, creating motions. They're all of the things. Yeah. And when the actual truth is they're doing too much.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. You also mentioned earlier when we were talking before we started recording that they also feel trapped. Say a little bit more about that.
Well, yeah, they feel trapped because they started doing this and they've got this whole business that they have to run and they can't leave it. How could you leave something like that? And what else are they going to do? I mean, really, what else are you going to do?
So in addition to feeling like they want to quit, they also feel like they can't quit.
They can't quit.
What does that lead to?
Well, I mean, it leads to this black and white thinking that they have. Yeah, they get into this black and white place like stay or go or, figure it out, push through or take off. There's no in between.
Yeah, I don't think that anybody actually does take off. And I think what ends up happening is because they feel stuck, that actually adds to their distress, I guess is the word that I'm using, right? I'm thinking about my coach who always says, anytime I'm like, I'm just so stuck. She's like, Sari, you are never stuck. Like, that's not a thing. You can always, there's always choice. And that's one thing that we talk about a lot in coaching is where's the choice, right? We tend to get into the black and white thinking. So in addition to feel burned out, especially those who own their own businesses or even the ones who don't, wouldn't you say that they also feel trapped? They're like, I spent all this time and money to become a trial attorney. I can leave and go somewhere else, but it's just going to be the same.
Yeah. And most of our clients have been doing this for at least, 15 years. So what are you going to do? You're just going to walk away from that? No.
Yeah. So there's definitely a feeling of trappedness.
Yeah, and it's when it's polarized and it's black and white, that's where stuckness comes from because there's no other choices. There's this or that.
Right. This is the lawyer life. I hear that a lot too. This is just how it is.
This is how it is. I'm going to be ground down to a nub and look at every other lawyer. This is the way we are. This is the culture.
This is the culture. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Another thing that we were talking about is of why they want to quit is not only the burnout, but this isn't what they thought it was going to be.
No.
And so I think a lot of trial attorneys, when they get into trial law, are thinking it's going to be Law and Order.
It's not sexy.
Right. It's not sexy when it comes up because like you're spending so little time in trial that it's not what you got into it for. Do you hear that a lot?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I mean that when they come to us and they start practicing and they're doing the trial thing when they're not in trial, that's what helps them see outside of those weeds.
Yes.
Because I mean, if you're not going to be if you're only going to be in trial like 3 times a year at most, then why not practice the things?
Right.
And it's like you're in trial.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Also, they're not where they think they should be. This is a big one. I've heard this quite a bit with my clients as well, is that they feel, because most of our clients are between the age of 40 and 60. You were saying there's like a sweet spot, right around 53 to 58,
is
right?
like the...
Yeah, that's like where they're really like, oh my gosh, I didn't become the billionaire with the plane and the private chef and all the things that a lot of people get into plaintiff law for. And I'm not where I need to be. So how does that lead to them wanting to quit? How do you see that kind of show up in your practice?
Well, I mean, if we just talked about the culture is a certain way, and then you're not where you're supposed to be, then why not just give up? Because everybody else there's all these greats out there. There's all these people that have all these results. Maybe you lost a couple trials too. I don't mean you start settling more cases and you just feel like, you know what, this is not anything that I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other one that we talked about is that lots of times people will come to coaching because either they haven't gotten where they want to go, which is a great reason to come to coaching because coaching has such a wonderful way of kind of breaking things open and causing transformation, which at least the type of coaching you and I do is all evoking transformation. But I think another reason why they come to coaching kind of as the last ditch effort before they actually pack it up or at least stop seriously considering it is because they've had a recent loss. How do you think that actually plays into this idea of I should just quit? This is just bullshit.
Well, because it becomes an identity of winning. You know, if you think that the only thing is to win, if you lose, then who am I? Yeah, where do I go from here?
You know, it's so funny because I have clients who are not where they want to be yet, and they haven't had the wins. But we've also had the clients who've come to us who've had a successful run and then just had a loss. And it's just so funny if you could get those two people to talk to each other.
Exactly.
Because I think so many of our trial attorneys who haven't got the big win yet are thinking, well, if I just got the big win, then that would solve all of my problems. I wouldn't feel this way anymore.
Yeah.
But what we see all the time, because we work with very successful lawyers, is that they've been having the big wins and then, oops, now I have a loss. And it absolutely throws them off their game because, as you said, it challenges the identity. It challenges who they thought they were, which is why at H2H, we talk a lot about divorcing your identity from winning. That's one of the first things I talk about in my mastermind program. Why are you here? I want the 8-figure verdict. Oh, we're not going to talk about that for a long time. We're going to put that aside because you cannot have your identity be based in winning.
No.
And they think, again, if they're going to win, once they do, that'll solve all the problems. But here we have people in both of our offices who have won and then have a loss, and it throws them off their game. Talk a little bit more about that. Why is that so earth-shattering for trial attorneys, especially successful ones?
I wanted to pivot a little bit back to what you said, like trial attorney that's won cases for a decade and loses one, and trial attorney that hasn't maybe won a lot of cases but thinks that they want to be like the trial attorney that's won for a decade. It would be wonderful if the two of them had a conversation.
Right.
You know, I mean, because you're not in this alone.
No.
And the one that's been so successful has very similar struggles to you.
They both have the exact same struggle, right? And I think they don't realize it.
No.
It's like this, I had all this wins, but it didn't help me when I had the loss.
Yep.
And the same thing here. I haven't had the win yet, but I'm thinking it's gonna solve my problems, and it's not. They both have the same problem.
Yeah.
Neither one of them have let go of winning.
No.
The person who hasn't had it yet and the person who's already had it. And that becomes a huge issue. If you're a longtime listener, you've probably heard me say practice makes progress. And what better way to practice than with a fellow group of trial attorneys in person and with me? Our 2-day Command the Courtroom Masterclass sessions put the H2H method into action, and I'm there every step of the way with live coaching and feedback and finish mama fierceness. And don't just take my word for it. Here's what PI attorney Sean had to say about our 2-day masterclass.
My biggest takeaway is that I now have a new approach as to how I'm going to enter the courtroom. It's a new energy, a new spirit, and it really gets me excited because that's actually the more fun part of what we do. And I'm looking forward to taking advantage of everything that I learned here.
Now, seats are limited. These are small group, high-impact courtroom sessions, not an auditorium full of bored attorneys and dull lectures. If you want to change the way you go to trial and turn your practice into progress, visit sariswears.com/masterclass to register for a 2026 class today. That's sariswears.com/masterclass.
Yeah.
So we have all these issues of why these trial attorneys want to quit. And first of all, I think both you and I would say we get it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why we exist. There's a reason why so many people are like, oh my God, where were you 20 years ago? There's a reason why so many people are coming to H2H is because we are hearing over and over again, I wanted to quit and now trial is fun again. You know, Michael Cowan was just here a few months ago. If you haven't heard his podcast, go back and listen to that about how his life was completely shifted after he got over the thinking that this coaching stuff was bullshit. But we get it. It's hard. This life of a trial attorney is hard. This job of a trial attorney is hard. So I don't think you and I want to give the impression today and speak to this more if you'd like, that like, what's your problem that you want to quit?
No, I think it's a huge part of their tipping point. They get to that point where they don't want to do it anymore because it's so hard and their brain starts screaming at them. But that's the time. That's the time to actually start taking the more risks.
Ooh, I love that idea.
Yeah.
Don't you think that's true? I don't think
It's
I ever
true
thought about
of
that.
Almost every trial attorney that I've come across that gets into their late 40s or maybe in their 50s and they're thinking they want to maybe pack it in.
This is where the breakthrough comes.
This is where the breakthrough comes because everything
you're so right.
comes to a head. And their brain just says survival mode, let's quit, pack it in, and you can either listen to that, but then you come to us, and we can help you go get past that. I mean, that's the juice. That's the job.
That's so true. I never even thought about that before, but you're right. So often people come to us right at their breaking point when they're like, I mean, I have a couple people, honestly, in my masterminds the last several years who are like, this is my last ditch effort.
Yep.
Like I'm already questioning whether I should even be a trial attorney. And I this is it. I'm putting all in, which I love. And obviously they often get so much transformation. But I think that's such a good point, is that there is help, and that it's actually a very exciting place to be when you're at this point where you're like, I don't even know if I want to do this anymore. To me, that says you're not willing to do it this way anymore. And that's a really exciting place, because if you're in the place of, well, this is just how it is, and you just keep going with it, which they probably have for many years, but some people do that their entire career. If you're listening to this right now and you're thinking, yeah, I am about to quit, that's actually a really exciting place to be.
It is. It is. It's this phenomenal place of growth that we have seen happen. And if we can be any kind of a catalyst for that, it's just really a beautiful situation. It
Absolutely.
really
Okay. So we've talked about the reasons why trial attorneys want to quit. They're burned out. They've had a recent loss. They haven't had the win that they've been waiting for, all the things. So let's dig a little deeper before we go into the actual solutions now of why those things are really kind of poking at them to quit. And you and I have come up with 3 things that we think are really underpinning all of this. So the first one is that they're trying to do it all. They're doing it all.
Yep.
Talk about how this leads to people wanting to quit. I mean, this is burnout, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're doing it all. But why are they doing it all? Let's talk about that.
They're doing it all because it's all they know. It's what they started out doing. And I have clients that talk about the darkening of their door, which means they're in their office. And as soon as they start to get into any kind of work that's not the minutia, somebody knocks or somebody's at the door. They all need them all day long.
Yes.
They need their attention. They need their answers all day long. That will burn anyone out.
Yes, yes. And so many of them have a heart for mentorship that they don't want to be like, well,
Well,
right?
yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
They help people. That's what they do.
They help people. So in the Mastermind program, we talk a lot about how to design your time so that you are open at certain times to talk and mentor and to give your team what they need. And at other times you're in deep work. But I think there's a bigger issue here is that they don't want to give up doing all the things. I mean, they are burned out. They are doing all the things. But when it really comes down to it, they're like, but I'm the only one that knows how to do it. Do you hear that?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe not hear it. Well, maybe you do hear that, but you see it. Yes.
I hear it too. Yeah. I'm the only one that knows how to do it, and that's fear-based. And maybe there was a time that you handed it off to somebody and they fucked something up.
Yeah.
And we're human beings. They're human beings. This happens. But if that's the time that you just say, that's it, I'm never going to do it again, well, yeah, you're going to be stuck being the controller of everything, and you're going to be completely burned out.
I think what a lot of people don't recognize, and we're in this right now as a business here at H2H, is that it takes a lot of time and effort to train people to do things the way that you like them done and to have systems and processes in place. And if you're not willing to do that work, you will get into this either or, talk back to black and white thinking, where it's either I have to do it because I'm the only one that does it right, or I give it to someone and they fuck it up, right? That you never spend the time to actually put down those processes and the training and the things in place so that you can have the freedom that you want. Yeah. I think money is a big one too for this one. So for some of our newer or younger attorneys or people who've been on their own for a while, it's just them, or just maybe them and one paralegal. Money becomes a barrier to actually getting help. What would you say to people who are like, well, I can't afford to get help. That's why I'm doing it all on my own.
I mean, I come back with you can't afford not to.
There it is.
But I mean,
that's what I was going to say.
What I was just thinking about is like with a money issue too, where you may have some really juicy cases, but you don't focus on them because you've got this caseload of keep the lights on cases, and that's the minutia that you're stuck with, and you never get to these 3, 4, 5 cases that are like the tops.
And you end up settling because you're not prepared, because you have a caseload of like 200 cases. That's another issue though, right? Is that we're taking too many cases. But I think with the money one, it's like we have always said, if you're going to wait till you can afford it, you're going to be waiting forever.
Exactly. And, you get money flows, all of those different concepts that we talk about with money, and it's investing in yourself. It's an important thing to invest in yourself.
I think the biggest lesson that you and I have learned is that you have to do it before you can afford it.
Yep.
And then you step into it. And we talked about that a lot on the podcast. But I think for our trial attorneys, once they have the help, then they can spend the time on the cases and get the bigger verdicts and or settlements. But they're going to be in this self-fulfilling loop of, well, I can't afford that. And then they're trying to keep the lights on and all the things where you, at some point, you're going to have to step out and be like, okay, I'm hiring some help.
Yeah.
And I have never had anybody hire help and go, you know what, I couldn't afford it. And I was living in a van down by the river at the end of the year.
I have done the let's play it out scenario. You know that one.
Yeah.
Yep. And you have them just go all the way down the rabbit hole of how terrible it'll be. But then they usually, at the other side, they decide to hire somebody and they never regret.
Well, and
maybe they'll have to hire a new person. Maybe the first person didn't work.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I love playing it all the way to the end, like you do, because then we talk and we go, okay, and we're in that process. If that were to happen, you could have stopped it here, right? Yep. They think, no, it's going to happen until I'm living in a van down by the river.
There's
right?
so many steps that happen in between where you are now and the van by the river.
So they're trying to do it all. That's one of the reasons why they're burned out, for sure. Okay. The other thing that they're doing, the second thing, is they're doing it alone. Okay. This one I think is huge, especially for our true trial lawyers.
I agree.
And what do I mean by true trial lawyers? I mean trial lawyers who love to try cases. If you are doing this by yourself, you are doing it wrong, I have to say, right? Because you're doing it alone. I think a big reason why we want to quit as trial attorneys is because we don't have that input from our colleagues that are like, no, you can get this. You can go. One of the most beautiful things that I have seen, and it's been so fun this year because now I have 6 masterminds where I only normally have 3. And this is the first year I've had 6. It's twice the fun, I have to tell you. But one of the best parts of my mastermind program, whether it's 3 or 6, is to see the attorneys support each other and give each other both the skills help, the mindset help, I don't know if I'm making the right decision help. And that in itself, I think, prevents people from wanting to quit. What are your thoughts about not doing it alone and how important that is?
Well, one of the key things in coaching and one of the key things in collaboration, like you're talking about, is that you have somebody to point out your blind spots. And when you're on an island, when you're by yourself completely, you don't have anybody to do that. So just the fact that someone can bring up maybe their experience or something they're seeing that's not quite working, and you can pivot, that could be something that makes the difference in a case, in just about anything in your practice. And you would have that opportunity on a regular basis by just working with other attorneys.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's so fun.
It makes it more fun.
It makes it
so much more fun
to work with other people. We hear that over and over again. They're almost apologetic. Like they'll come out to the courtrooms, or they'll come out for their trial labs with the mastermind program, and they'll be like, I mean, you're great, Sari, but oh my gosh, getting to do this with everybody else. And we're like, you don't need to apologize for that.
I love to hear that. That's what we were working towards.
Yes.
We want the group to gel.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so whether that's, in a program like H2H, or I know several of my masterminds are in an office, just them and a couple associates, but they have built in where they're meeting regularly and they're getting that camaraderie even in their own firms. It's huge. It's huge. So that's one of the reasons too, is they're doing it all, and they're doing it alone. And the third thing I think that underpins all of this is that they're doing it wrong. And what I mean by that is that they are not having fun in how they're trying the case. It doesn't have to be H2H. I think H2H is amazing. But I think that what we hear over and over again is that trial is fun again. And I think a huge part of that is because we do mindset work with our clients, and that's a big part of it. But I also think the method itself is designed so that you can have fun. You can have fun in voir dire. We teach you how to have resonant conversations, how to get the jury to solve your problems, to not do exclusionary voir dire. Obviously, you're going to still get rid of jurors. We don't embrace everyone, but that you have a different look at the jurors from the beginning, that there are people here that want to help me. And that in itself changes the whole experience. And that we teach storytelling and risking and being totally snarky and all the things in closing. If you're not using a trial method that is allowing you to have fun at trial, and that can mean a lot of different things. What it could mean just doing exclusionary voir dire and asking stupid ass questions like what bumper stickers are on your car. I can't imagine that would be fun for anybody. And it could be being afraid to go outside of the script because so-and-so trial consultant said never, ever deviate. But regardless of what method that you're using, I think you should be having fun. I mean, like you said, we rarely get to trial. Once you're there, don't you want to enjoy the experience? What would you say to this about doing it wrong?
Yeah. Well, and I the fact that we have them on their feet and they're collaborating, that's the right way. I mean, that's the way to work up a case. That's the way to work up anything like that.
Yeah.
And the fact that they get off their notes and there isn't this stringent
We don't even
framework.
create the notes.
Yeah, we don't. That it makes it fun, the process, and practicing it makes you're practicing leading up to trial. You're in that trial mindset the whole time,
Well,
and then you get to trial.
That's a good point that you have, is that it's not only just having fun at trial, is that they're having such fun preparing for a trial.
Preparation should be fun too.
That they can't wait and go and try a case. In fact, we just had a mastermind here who was out, they were out, the 6th for their first trial lab. And they left on Friday, and he went and tried a case on Monday. A different case than he was even trying out here, that he was preparing out here. Got a $1.8 million verdict. And I think, a $30,000 offer, something insane.
It was.
And had so much fun and was so ready to go. Even was a different case, just by getting up on his feet and not doing it alone, right? Being with his comrades.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Sexy Six.
Oh, the Sexy Six. That's right.
Yeah.
And just that energy too. It's like you're sending that out, and I'm going to get woo-woo here, but you're sending out that energy that you're so ready to go.
That's right.
That's when the numbers go up on settlements.
Absolutely.
They want you to not get in there because they know that you're so ready.
Yes, you're just vibrating, man. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the solve for doing it all, doing it alone, and doing it wrong? Well, the first solve is to get help. Oh my gosh. Like, hire before you can afford it. I will just say that. Hire before you can afford it, even if it's part-time, just to show you that taking some things off your plate is going to make your whole life better. And then I'm going to let you talk about the second one, which is delegate.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, that we go back all the way back that you're doing everything. So, and there's that process of delegation, but even before that, that's the process of designing with them and making sure that your team is completely gelled to do this. I mean, you want to get them as excited about it. And so many times they'll get excited about it and you didn't want to do it at all. So that's great. Let them pick that up.
That's right.
Let them do the thing that they really want to do, and you don't have to do it anymore.
That's right.
Yeah.
So hire help, and then design with your team and actually end up delegating. But you got to put time in your schedule for that.
Yep.
The second thing, so that you don't want to quit, so you don't end up quitting, once you get help, I'll tell you, that is such a big deal for so many people. Once they get help, that takes off so much of this pressure, is to collaborate. Collaborate. You've got to have people that you can play with, honestly. And you can be like, hey, can I, check this out with you? Can I try a little bit of my opening? What do you think I should do about this settlement offer? Whatever it is, you need to find your people. H2H, our people are amazing to each other. That's just one group. TLC is a group that's amazing to each other. It doesn't matter what it is, but don't do it alone.
No, yeah.
You've got to collaborate.
Well, and the collaboration, you use the word play, and it's fun because, I mean, most of the trial attorneys that we come across are highly creative.
Yes.
I was just talking to a client yesterday and how he loves trying cases and working cases because it's so creative. It's such a creative process. And so many of these guys, gals, they get together and they play with their creativity. It makes it so much fun. It's an exciting experience.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So collaborate. Even just with a trial consultant. I mean, there's so many times that I'm working one-on-one with the clients, just two of us. And they're like, oh my God, that's so brilliant. I'm like, no, we're brilliant. Like, I couldn't do this by myself. You couldn't do it by yourself. But together, we're just like ping, 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 bong, bong, and we just come up with the greatest stuff. And nearly all of my clients leave a consulting session going, oh my gosh, I have so many ideas. I can't even 90 minutes is gone already. They can't believe it.
Yeah.
It's just exciting to do it with someone else, whether it's a trial consultant or your own paralegal. I mean, just get in that mode of not just sitting behind your desk in your brain.
Well, what I just thought of, you sit in your brain, but you're holding it all in your head when you're not with somebody.
That's
when
right.
you're with somebody, it helps open things up.
Right.
And you're not doing it all alone.
That's right.
It's such a more freeing process.
And 3, which is, the answer to you're doing it wrong, is get a trial method that jives with you.
Yeah.
Listen, if you are the kind of person that loves to be told that you're doing everything wrong and you always have to do it a certain way because you're actually a sub and you need a dom, then fine. I'm not gonna judge you for that. Everybody has their kinks, but I think I'm the dom in this relationship, obviously.
You think so.
Yeah. But I don't know. We're just having so much fucking fun at H2H.
Yeah.
I mean, trial is fun. Again, I have to tell the story
Which one?
about one of my masterminds who totally wanted me to fuck with them in this last trial lab.
Oh, God, this is great.
And so he said, give me a word. I'm like, what do you mean a word? He's like, give me a word that I can use in my voir dire. And I'm like, I don't know. Foliage. I think you came up with that one. Or caramel. And he comes out, and the first thing he does is like, I'm smooth like a caramel. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. And they were talking about Alzheimer's and people's experience with this. And he was like, did her memory drop off right away or like foliage? I'm like, you fucker.
And he's drawing it with the green pen.
And I was like, okay, fine. I'm really going to fuck with it. I never do that. I wouldn't say never, but I rarely do this.
You do it.
And so as he's with the actual jury, I go up very slowly, and I'd wrote on an index card, I dare you to sit in front of the jury, like sit on the ground.
Yep.
And I just put it on his lectern, and I walked away, and I barely even turned around, and there he is sitting on front, to the point where people are like looking over.
They're trying to look over the box.
Yeah, they're looking over, and they can't see him, and he's like, I just want you to imagine. I mean, he just flowed
right into it.
Yeah,
but
flowed right into it.
He did a visualization with
Yes. And this is an attorney that didn't used to be that free, but after all of this practicing, just an example of how much fun. Now, it's not a real jury, although I wouldn't say not to do that in front of them. They loved it.
Yeah,
it was great. And we had so much, we just have so much. If you're not having fun as you're prepping up your cases, whether you're doing it alone, which you're probably not having fun, or you're doing it in another group that just feels competitive and gross, then you're doing it wrong. I'm telling you. Again, it doesn't have to be H2H, but that we find is the number one reason where people are like, I love trying cases again. I like being a trial lawyer again. So that's how we think you can get out of this funk. But we have a little bonus one for you, which actually isn't a bonus. It's a huge part of the work that you do with people, which is not making trial lawyering be your entire fucking life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that work-life balance is a huge piece. Talk a little bit about that and how much you work with that with your clients. Once you get them kind of here where you're like, you're doing too much, let's get you some help. And you're like, okay, let's get you delegating, let's get you collaborating, and they're in H2H already. So they're already learning that. Then you really start working with them. I won't even say that you wait. You probably start right away with, okay, what do you do outside of being a trial lawyer? Why is that important?
Well, I mean, we were talking earlier about the identity of winning. If that's your only identity, let's say the example of a trial attorney that loses after winning a bunch. Well, okay, then if that's it, you just lost. What are you going to do now? And the first thing I think of is, well, do something different. Step outside of it. Go back to the things that you love to do outside of work, something that's a different perspective. And then you can come back from the weeds and look at things differently. But try new things, or try things that you used to do, that you used to love, because there's a whole person here. You're not just a trial attorney.
That's right.
Yeah.
As much as we love our trial attorneys, they are so much bigger.
And they do great things, the fun things. I mean, some of the coolest, most amazing hobbies I've heard of are trial attorneys that are like, well, I used to do this. I'm like, used to do that? Why don't you try doing that again?
Yes.
And it starts opening things up in their lives and in their practice. just get out of the office sometime, people.
Yeah, I think you're right, because I think when your entire identity and life is trial lawyering, the loss is so much bigger.
Oh my God.
Because that's your whole
everything.
Life. Yeah. But when it's just a job, and I know it's not just a job, but I'm saying it's just part of your job. And listen, we talk about, are you willing, all the time to our jurors, but I ask my clients all the time, are you willing to have the trial lawyer life, which includes losing? It is just a part of it, as horrible as it is. But when you have a rich life, which is what coaching really helps with, it helps soften that blow, because that's not the only part of your life. So you run a program, if our people haven't listened, if you're new to us, called Momentum Coaching.
Yep.
Talk a little bit about this program and how people can connect with a coach to get out of this thought of, maybe I should just quit.
Yeah. Well, Momentum Coaching is a program that I've been running, and I've got a group of people right now, and they're trial attorneys like we've been talking about. They've been doing this for a while, and some of them actually have said, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. But you basically can get a sample session with me. We can coach. You can see if it works. But it's a 9-month program, and we go through coaching one-on-one twice a month. We have a group call together, and that's that collaboration with the attorneys. And they get together, and you're not alone. And then there's a retreat that happens.
They come out for 2 days.
They come out for 2 days. So it's not just the one-on-one coaching with you and I. We want to also make sure that you have that community piece and the collaboration. So you come out here and have lots of fun. The retreat's really fun.
And you designed this program around them, right? After your first session.
It's curated around the client.
It's curated around what they want to really work on. And so it's not just a, out of the box. I mean, it's, something that's just cookie cutter for everybody. It's every single person in your program is really getting curated coaching. So how can they get a sample session with you?
You just go to sariswears.com/coaching. And you'll see that it's a layout of, it's got me on there, Momentum Coaching, and you can click and get a sample session.
And what does that mean, sample session? Do they have to pay for that?
No, it's free. And it's 40 minutes, and we'll go through coaching. You can bring a topic, and if you're having struggles finding a topic, we'll get there. And it just really shows you what coaching's all about and coaching with me is all about, and then also give you a breakdown of what the program is all about.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I have found that, in my program, I offer coaching, I offer skills work, I offer videotaping yourself and watching it back. They come to and work with mock juries 3 times over the year. And at the end of working with me for 12 months, consistently, they'll say, it was the mindset. That was the big part. That was the thing that made the difference. So if you're thinking about quitting, or you're feeling stuck, like, well, I can't quit, there is help available. You are at a wonderful place where you're not willing to have it feel like this anymore, and Kevin can help. We will be talking to you toward the end of this year about how you might be able to get into my mastermind program if that's something you want to do. But a lot of my clients come from coaching Kevin. They're ready then to come to me. So don't wait to get to me. Start with Kevin, if nothing else, to get some coaching under your belt. Again, sariswears.com/coaching. Since we are giving you some things, now I'm going to ask for something. And that is, if you've not subscribed to the podcast, go ahead and hit subscribe. That helps us get into more ears. That sounds gross, but you are listening to me. So thank you, Coach K, for being here. It was a wonderful conversation, and I hope that helps. We don't want you quitting if you actually are meant to be a trial attorney, which most of you are.
Yep.
So there is help available, and we hope at least this podcast has got you started to think about some of the things that can help. All right, talk next week. Thank you for listening to the very end of this episode, A+. I'm going to ask you to subscribe to the podcast, whether you're one of the weirdos that like to watch it on YouTube or you just listen. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. It helps the podcast grow and let other people find me, y'all. But don't stop there. Be sure to leave me a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. We want this podcast to reach as many ears and eyes as possible. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.